Welcome, everybody, to an edition of the Dr. Bowser podcast, powered by Sports Guys Iowa. Earlier in the week, we had these two gentlemen on to talk Part of America Athletic Conference Tournament, and we're back because both guys predicted, as they predicted, it was a little bit of chalk. Both Graceland and William Penn earned their way into the championship game of the Heart tomorrow, March 2nd. So the calendar is turned to March. It's the best time of the year for us basketball junkies. And welcome, gentlemen, to a Sunday night edition of the Dr. Bowser podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Absolutely. So, Matt, let's start with you. Let's talk a little bit about Graceland's journey through the Heart, their 2 wins. Maybe dive into the quarterfinal game, talk about what went well, maybe who played well, and then follow it up with the semifinal match. And same thing, and how you guys earned your way into the championship game tomorrow night.
I really think it was the story of the season is how it's gone for Graceland pretty much all year. We're really balanced across the board. And I think that's one of the things that makes us so good is during the time where Cole Bowen was out, they really had to learn to play without him. And I kept saying at the time that I thought it was going to make them better down the stretch. And there's no question they played their best basketball, not even prior to the tournament starting, the previous 3 or 4 games leading into it. They've just clicking on all cylinders, watching them Tuesday night. I didn't have a chance to watch them Tuesday. I had a game myself. I watched some clips afterwards, but of course, wrote all the releases and saw the stats and everything. Shot it really well from the perimeter. Again, Cole Bowen was the do-it-all thing. I know one of Coach Lawrence's quote was, Cole Bowen was doing Cole Bowen things. He just has this knack he's a stat sheet stuffer, man. He can score, he rebounds, he finds his teammates, he plays defense, and they were just really balanced. Friday night, to me, I really thought they put it all together. There was some frustration on Peru's end Tuesday night. I thought it kind of led to their undoing in the second half. It was like a 12-point game, maybe at halftime. A little frustration erupted. They had a player ejected, I know, and Grayson just took over after that in the quarterfinal game. But Friday night, it was fun to watch them. They got hot right from the start, hit a couple of threes, got up 6-0. I think it was 12-3. They hit 4 threes in a row to start the game and really never looked back. And again, that's what's been so impressive to me about this Graceland team is the balance. They've got 6 guys that can score in double figures on any given night.
I think that's one of the things that probably makes it really hard to scout, right? You pay attention to it. If you turn your attention to one player, somebody else can step up.
Yeah, and they're impossible as well. A lot of coaches will sit down. You'll have coaches that are all man, all zone. You really can't. You got to pick your poison with Graceland and decide what you're going to give, because you've got to give on something, because they've got a big in the middle that can score. Again, they've got athletic wings and they can shoot it. So you really have to make a decision. And lately you've seen teams try to give that perimeter shot to Graceland. And that's a big reason to me why they've been winning by, I think I looked it up the other day, and their average margin of victory over the last 4 games is 27 points.
That's amazing. So we're going to shift gears and let's go to Seth. Seth, let's talk a little bit about the Statesman's journey through the Heart Conference. And so they opened up on Tuesday as well with a nice win, and then won in the semifinals against Grandview. So talk a little bit about who played well in the quarters and who played well in the semis.
Yeah, I've talked with Coach Henry numerous times and all the staff all season, and it just seems like we never have really made it easy on ourselves, but we always find ways to win. That we have a really gutsy group of guys that continue to find ways to either get guys open looks and really just, I would say, play our brand of basketball. It's very fast. Like, we don't like to slow down, and just continue to find that, especially against Benedictine in the quarterfinals. A lot of stuff that went outside of our control, and we're able to get the 88-73 win. Wrote that wrong from earlier in the season, losing to Benedictine back in November, the first league game of the year. And I think that just let guys know, hey, this is a whole new, fresh group of guys that are playing together and getting that success back at what we're used to. And then the semifinals, I think everybody that was looking forward to was William Penn versus Grandview Part 3. Still stings, losing the toilet paper game. It's never easy, but you just had a feeling that William Penn was going to come out firing and hit the ground running, and it's exactly what they did. They opened up strong. Fode Sharif had a phenomenal game. He exited the game at one point, didn't see a whole lot in the second half, but talked with him afterwards and he feels good. But it just a 84-63 win over the 3 seed Grandview. I couldn't have told you that was going to happen. I thought that this was going to be a 5-point game, and Statesman controlled it from the tip. And I was just keeping glued with Graceland and Central Methodist all night long, just to seeing like what the matchups were going to play like. And Matt said Cole Bowen has missed both of the games against us, and then since he's been back, he's been phenomenal. To say that it's William Penn versus Graceland in the final, it's no surprise to me, because we just think that we're the best two teams in the heart, and that's no diss to everybody else, because they definitely didn't make it easy. This is where we are going into Monday for the Heart Championship final.
Everybody's getting what they want, except for the fans of the other schools. But for the casual basketball fan, number one versus number two, Matt, let's talk about that a little bit, because William Penn swept the regular season series. And we know that Graceland was a little shorthanded in both those wins, but talk a little bit about, we're entering into basketball's greatest cliche, right? It's tough to beat a team 3 times. Talk to us a little bit about Graceland versus William Penn, number 3.
It's funny you say that, because I was talking to my dad yesterday about this, and he made that comment to me. And as a basketball coach, I think we even talked about it last time, I really think that's out the window. William Penn is a fantastic team. They're not going to care one bit that they beat Graceland the 2 times prior. They will not come in thinking it's going to be an easy road because of that. And in reverse, Graceland will be prepared and not concerned with the 2 losses before. I'm sure they'll want that revenge factor, but at the end of the day, I think that's out the window for both teams. I think you're going to see William Penn is fantastic. They're gritty, they're tough, they're fast, they play great defense. I think I'm remembering this right. I watched both games online. Graceland had double-digit lead in the second half of both games and just couldn't hold on because of that pressure that William Penn puts on you. It's tough to sustain that. And I know that's an old adage in basketball, but I really think when they step on the court tomorrow night with each other, I think that'll be out the window, and you're just going to see 2 great teams go to battle.
Let's shift gears and talk to you a little bit, Seth. The same question. What is William Penn looking forward to in William Penn versus Graceland round 3?
You always got to say that you love sagas. Sagas always bring that extra little bit of flair to it, and especially in college basketball, because like you touched on it, Chris, and we mentioned it last time that we all talked, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, no matter what you're doing. I think Matt hit the nail right on the head. I don't think either of these teams are really going to look for that. William Penn trying to approach it like the last 2 games, like you didn't have to deal with Cole Bowen. William Penn's going to try to play their brand of basketball. Graceland's going to try to play their brand. But I know for William Penn, it's a whole nother look. You have somebody that's going to space the floor a little bit more, and it's just going to be an absolute phenomenal game. Both teams are going into this game knowing that tomorrow is not their last game being played tomorrow, and that's something that you always want to play for. And I just think that being in Lamoni, it's obviously going to swing a little bit in Graceland's favor, especially the unique place that they play in. I think if William Penn had something like that, I think it'd make our environment a little bit cooler. But I've never been down to Lamoni for games, and I'm making the trip tomorrow. I'm super excited to see how things play out. And I think both of these teams are both ready for nationals, but they know that there's one more game left on their plate, and it's for the Heart tournament title.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants to hang a banner, their gymnasium and their arena. And Seth, you described maybe the journey of the Statesman through the Heart Conference tournament as gritty, get the job done. And I've known Coach Henry for a lot of years, and those are things that I think describe him as a person. And so do you think that maybe the Statesman take on the personality of Coach Henry?
Absolutely. I think it does. Coach Henry, I've known him since I was in high school playing with his son Cole, who's now a part of the coaching staff. He just has a different feel about his energy that he brings. He's going to give it to you straight up, and he always wants to push the next thing for you. And I know he was talking to me just a little bit ago that this would be the program 16th conference championship finals appearance in the last 24 years. So he has a ton of experience, and it's going to be a whole new group of guys. I think it's them trying to buy into that veteran experience. And I know he'll probably hate it that I just called him a veteran, but he knows it. He knows the game in and out. And I think this group is really excited to have a chance for a conference title after having 2 years down. And I know that it's rubbed coach the wrong way, not being in the top the last couple of years. I know he's excited for this group, especially the last game being a little underhanded, and now going to be at full strength for tomorrow night.
You bet. Mr. Shelton, I'm going to ask you the same question. What are some words that you would describe this team, and is that a reflection of Coach Lorenz?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I was thinking about that as Seth was answering it. It's been interesting for me to see Graceland basketball throughout how they are. I don't know that I've ever really thought about that until you asked it, but I started thinking about past teams and this team, and I think they absolutely take on some of the personality traits of their coaching staff. And Graceland tends to be a quiet assassin is the first thing that comes to mind. Like Coach Lawrenson is a firecracker in the right moment, but he's also, there's a lot of thinking on the sideline. There's a lot of hands. He's often dialed into the game, and he'll get into it and yell when he needs to, but there's a lot of thinking during the game too. I'm not sure how else to say that. And I feel like Graceland I know there's talking that goes on between the teams on the court, no matter who you are. But I feel like for the most part, Graceland just, is a team that steps on they don't care what they look like. They don't care what you think of them. They don't care. They're just going to step on the floor and play their style of basketball. They're going to try and impose their will on the game and get you to play their style instead of reverse, which is the same thing William Penn will come and try to do. And honestly, the team that is successful at forcing the other team to play its style, because you are talking about two contrasting teams, that's the team that's going to win tomorrow night, to be quite honest. And yeah, I've seen this team change when Coach Doty was there and they won a national championship. And I'm very good friends with Coach Doty. There's actually a lot of similarities, and I've had fans say that between these two teams. Coach Lawrenson and Coach Doty are really good friends. It is interesting to me. I have thought that myself. That team obviously was outstanding and won it all, but they also went on a really magical run. Nobody expected that going into the playoff, into the national tournament. They didn't expect it. It just, everything played out. To get back to the question, I guess, I certainly have seen Graceland's characteristic traits in the way they play and the way Coach Lawrence is as a coach. And I agree with Seth. I definitely see William Penn on the way those guys play. They're tough. They play hard-nosed defensive basketball for 94 feet. And like I said, I coached against Coach Henry in high school. He's always been that way, and his teams have always been good and talented and really athletic. So, yeah, that was an interesting question, Chris. I don't know that I've spent a lot of time thinking about that, but it's certainly a true statement, I'm sure, with a lot of really good teams.
I agree. And I think you've touched on something I want to hit next. So we're going to get to predictions, right? I think, just like in many basketball games, the team that imposes their will on their opponent are the ones that normally come on top. And let's start with you, Matt. Let's talk prediction. What do you feel happens tomorrow night, and how does Graceland make it happen?
Oh, it's going to happen on the defensive end. I'll tell you that right now. William Penn is a great scoring basketball team. And really, in the last 5 minutes of both games is when William Penn took over and was able to pull away. And the first game was a buzzer beater. And the second game, Graceland had a double-digit lead about the 10-minute mark of the second half. And William Penn just put their foot on the gas and took the game over and ended up, I don't remember what the final was. They won by 6 or so, maybe. It was closely contested throughout. I think it'll be much of the same tomorrow. I do think a big difference will be that Cole Bowen is back. And not only is he back, he's 100% and playing some of the best basketball that I've seen him play. He made an athletic move against Central Methodist Friday night he made a ball fake baseline, went up and two-hand dunked on a kid. And he certainly has the ability to do that, but you don't usually see it in traffic from him. And he just feels like he's playing at the highest level I've seen him play before. And I think that'll be a huge asset for Graceland on Friday or tomorrow night. Of course, I'm going to pick the Jackets to win. I think it'll be a battle the entire way. I'll even give you a score. I'll say, as I think Graceland's defense will be a little better tomorrow night, I'll go 84-81 Graceland.
Nice. All right. Good stuff. Seth, same question. What do you have tomorrow night? And if the Statesmen are going to get it done, what needs to happen right in Lamoni tomorrow night?
Oh, Matt put it tough on me for actually guessing the score. But I think he touched on it perfectly. Defensively, from each of these teams is going to be huge. How each team responds to either team's going on runs offensively, or it's just hectic on both ends, and either team isn't really shooting well or taking care of the ball well. In the first game, both teams shot phenomenally. William Penn shot 43%, and then 40% from 3-point range, and Graceland shot 59% from the field and of 50% from three, and ended on a buzzer beater. Yeah, I think how William Penn is able to defend Cole Bowen really well, or just at least slow him down just a little bit, and also not forget everything that's around him, and seeing all the bodies that the talent that the Yellow Jackets have, because they do. They are able to get somebody off on a night that you had no idea that they were going to go off on. And it's been William Penn's tale all season. Somebody has their best night against us. Matt, you said 84-81.
84-81.
In the 80s, anything can happen. I'm going William Penn. I think 91-85 Statesman. I knew Statesman were picked 10th to start the year out of the gate.
Were they really?
Yeah, I think that chip has been on their shoulder all year long, and just coming up just a little bit short, a game or two. I think that's really going to boost a lot of the players. It boosts the staff 100%. And either way, both teams are looking at nationals, and I'm excited to see how that all plans out when the selection show happens.
Gosh, I didn't know William Penn was picked 10th. That's absurd to me.
Yeah. I think that if we've got one more prediction. I think I am going to make a prediction. I'm going to call for overtime tomorrow. And I'm going to say that William Penn upsets Graceland for the Hart Championship on a last second three in overtime. I'm going to go 89-86.
That would be a heartbreaker.
That would be a heartbreaker. But I will tell you this. I think later in the week, we definitely have to have all three of us back again.
And don't be surprised if we see a team like Grandview get into the national tournament, and we'll just see where the cards land with William Penn and Graceland. I think obviously if Graceland gets the win tomorrow night, it gives them a really good spot for top 7 seeds, and then same thing for William Penn. Either way, I think both of these teams are traveling for the opening rounds. I know as much as the Statesman would love to correct another wrong of the season against a very good Northwestern team up in Orange City, I know that we wouldn't complain if we're either Graceland or us are staying in Iowa for the opening rounds and not having to do too much traveling.
For sure. And it would, as a small college basketball podcast that focuses on Iowa schools, I think all of us would be really fired up if Coach Schaefer and the Vikings got an at-large bid to the NAIA National Tournament as well.
I think there's a good chance. With the Hearts gotten at least 3 in for at least 4 or 5 years in a row now. They had 4 in a couple years ago. I think there's a good chance that we'll get 3 in. The selection show is actually March 5th at 6:00 on YouTube. Yeah. Men's selection show is then, the women's is the next day, I think. So Thursday at 6 p.m. on YouTube.
Awesome. After the selection show, maybe we get you guys and even the coaches back on and talk a little bit about postseason basketball. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday evening, and good luck to both the Statesmen and the Yellow Jackets tomorrow for the Heart of America Conference Championship.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Look forward to meeting again.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Guys.